Oh, hi there. Cello. Hey now. Hola. And ba weep grana weep ninny bong. However you want to say it, welcome to that Kev1 show. We're about positive vibes and, the train to where we need to go on this crazy apocalyptic train ride that we find ourselves on cosmically. It's your destination chat-wise for film talk from your favorite friendly neighborhood actor, me, Kevin Michael Watson. Welcome back to that Kev1 show. My next guest is no stranger to you if you're a fan of horror, film, independent adventure, and more. He's actor, director Dylan Hillerman, creator of The Night Attacks. Welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you, drunk Batman?
Oh, not bad. Not very drunk at the moment, though.
Oh, hell yeah. Man, it's the weekend. What's going on?
Gosh, at the moment, not much. I've been doing a lot of editing, but I managed to get a cold this week, so I sort of slowed things down a bit. Last night, I finished making a little commercial for Guignol Fest, for the horror film contest with, and I managed to get a little video from Malcom McDowell.
Oh my god. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I just posted that early this morning and woke up to a bunch of people going, "What the hell?"
Oh my god, yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah, for my viewers that don't know, Guignol Fest, I'm probably mispronouncing it, is the Pacific Northwest leading the original horror film festival, right?
The original 3-day horror film contest, specifically. There are at least one other one in town. I think the Lovecraft does a time-based horror movie contest, and they have taken the model of the 3 days after us. But the idea for mine, of course, the rules were more based on 48-hour film festival, and I actually entered a contest years ago called the 666.
Ooh.
That was only 2 days, and I tested my movie on 5 different platforms, or at least 3, and they all worked, and for some reason they didn't work on the one at that place, at the venue. So mine didn't get shown, but...
Oh my god. You mean tech-wise it didn't work, or what do you mean? Like it wouldn't...
Yeah, it just didn't play, and I wasn't upset because I was just so happy to see all these locally made horror films. And a few months later, the guy who ran it ran out of town. He broke a few laws.
Ooh.
And so I just turned to the owner of the bar and said, "Do you mind if I take this, rename it, and improve it?" And he said yes. And so here we are 15 years later.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's the basic origin.
Huh.
Skipping a few gory details.
Yeah. And I first met you at my first Guignol Fest. I know it's the 13th annual one because we won some awards. We won Best Picture that year for our first year in, so we got to go in the Legacy category the next year, which was like such an honor.
Oh, yeah.
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 I have the poster from that year framed on my wall, so I know it's the 13th one, because I'm like, okay, I see it on occasion when I pass it for sure. The one with you.
The one with the group?
Yeah, with the group attacking you and Julia. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. And it's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, coming up. It's kickoff is on Friday the 13th this year.
Oh.
And I think that's only happened one other time. I'm not, my memory is certainly correct. And then everyone makes a movie over the weekend, and they turn it in on Monday night. And then after that, we have the screening the following weekend. And this year, for the first time ever, we're having it on a Saturday. It's just the way that the schedule fell together.
Oh, hi.
Usually it's almost always been on a Sunday. Well, it's been on a Sunday ever since I started it. And this year's just a little change-up. But It shouldn't be too bad. It's just a Saturday, and it's not the same weekend as Halloween, so not everybody's booked, you know.
Yeah, I can't believe you got Malcom McDowell. That is so awesome. I remember the one... I think the first one I went to had the Shining Twins, right? I want to say maybe 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. That was so funny. That was the one where when I ordered the video, it was the day before me and my wife's anniversary, and I completely forgot that I got her that present. So months go by, and I'm walking through the woods by myself behind my apartments, and I just looking through some old messages, and it says the Shining Twins. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Wow.
I was in the middle of the woods, and the Shining Twins are saying happy anniversary to me and Julia. It was kind of odd, but it was very, very cool.
Wow. I mean, I know you're busy and everything, but man, you really are the king of horror. If that's something you forgot, like, oh yeah, this old thing. Oh, the Shining Twins message. That's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was embarrassing.
Not in a safe.
I don't know what was going on. I think there must have been some stress happening in my life or something for me to forget something that solidly. It could have been just that the next day I woke up and, maybe Julia was like, hey, we're doing this now, and my brain probably went off track. But, anyway, it's very funny.
Yeah.
Shining Twins. We've had greetings from Roger Corman.
Wow.
Victoria Price. Who else? I know I'm forgetting. My friend Baker Stoker, the great grandnephew of Bram Stoker.
Wow.
He's an author as well, best-selling author. And also my friend Amanda Detmer, who gets hit by the bus in Final Destination.
Oh, wow. Hell yeah. And so, this festival's so unique, so creative, so awesome, and like you said, it's one of those 72-hour ones where it shows a crew's true mettle in creating film. But where can some people who are maybe less familiar or who just want to check it out again, is there a specific website people can check out past films?
Absolutely, yes. The website is guignolfest.com, and it's spelled GUIGNOLFEST.com.
Oh man, there's so much. Yeah, horror fans from all over can watch that now.
Yeah, I think it covers all 15, or rather the last 14 years, I think, are all linked up onto the website. That we might have 1 year missing. I forgot if Julie's updated the site or not. But yeah, I think if we haven't already broken, we're pretty close to breaking, or have already broken the 300 number of films over the years that we've curated. Yeah.
So cool. Thanks for doing that. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Only one or two. I mean, during COVID, we kind of opened up the rules a little bit, so we could keep the Clinton Street Theater open. And we've had some people from other states make a movie. So, we've had someone from Baltimore, Maryland make one. We have a couple teams from California that have done movies for us. And so that's cool. I wanted to keep it a local, exclusively Portland thing, but one of the other things that happened recently was that one of the local papers created their own horror film contest that lasted about 2 years, and I thought, man, they're really
trying to cut in.
Training all the local talent for horror film.
Okay.
I'm going to run out of teams.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But they haven't done it for, I think they've skipped the last 2 years at least.
Oh, good.
So
well, not good, but, the competition's less stiff.
It's just so weird to be competing with a newspaper that should be writing articles about us.
Yeah, no, totally. The heck? I mean, it's so great and organic, kind of like the spirit of, horror and independent film, and, kind of piggybacking on that, I love how, at least the 2 times I went, the trophies for Guignol Fest are, so unique. The one I got for Pumpkin's Attack was, this skull on, with a feather on, a wooden plank, and the other ones we had with, because we won 3 that year, was, a cauldron and a plaque. Who makes these,
awesome.
Who makes these collectible awards? Is it you and Julia, or...?
It's a kind of a combination of things. I mean, some years we just sort of glue things together, and, that's the award.
Yeah.
And other years I've sculpted something. I think the cauldron you got was actually created by a lady named Marion Held. She lives in Vancouver, Washington, and she is a Hollywood special effects artist.
Whoa.
She's worked on some of the biggest shows you've ever seen. She's worked on Breaking Bad. She's worked on David Lynch films and just all kinds of stuff. And she worked with Guillermo del Toro for quite a while. And so she made that cauldron.
Wow! Oh my God!
Yeah.
I think Joel or Mike Gould, who directed Pumpkin's Attack, he might have that. So I got to talk to him about that one. Tell them that. Well, they'll hear this too.
Wow.
But yeah, for sure. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's a really nice lady. We just filmed at her house, in fact, about a month ago. She owns a house that used to be a church, and now it's a museum dedicated to little collectible devils.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like, it's just her collection, or she sells, or what do you mean by that?
She sells stuff too. She makes pottery, but she collects. Anybody who's ever made a little tiny devil figurine of any kind, or an ashtray with a devil on it, or artwork.
It has a home.
Printed posters.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even just like kitchen products or anything like that. She collects. She's been doing it her whole life, so she's got this entire house filled with devils.
That used to be a church. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's very cool. We've had, and then in other past shows, we've had. One of the filmmakers made a bunch of awards for us in the form of bottles with like embryos in them.
Oh my God! What? That's awesome. All the awards that year were those, or just some of them?
Yeah, they weren't real embryos.
Well, yeah,
but
yeah.
It was like little stringed kind of like laboratory specimens.
Yeah.
That I've gone to people's houses. I completely forgot about them, and I'll look at someone's shelf and see a lineup of little tiny.
Looks like clones in bottles or whatever, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like something out of the movie Aliens or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Trying to think of anything else. Yeah, no. So, the awards have evolved. They usually change up just about every year. That's the one consistency is that there's completely none.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like the first year I went, the 13th, was you, and it was hosted by I don't know his name's. He's on the poster. He was like a count or something, but he wasn't there on the second year. Is anyone co-hosting with you this year? Yeah. Larry.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Oh, cool! Because he was such a character. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's been doing it for quite a while. He was doing that character before Guignol Fest, so well over 15 years ago.
Oh.
He'd do it for Halloween events and stuff like that. He was, I think, they originally came out of an old partnership he was in with a lady who worked at one of the local haunted houses. She made costumes and makeup and things like that. And so they just sort of, and he's an illustrator. He's an illustrator artist himself. So I guess between the two of them, they put together this character, Uncle Eerie, and I just thought it was really cool. I caught him on YouTube, hosting a couple horror films, and I guess he was on public access as well.
Huh. In Portland or California or where?
Yeah.
Oh.
Portland. Yeah, he's a local dude. He doesn't live in Portland at the moment, but he lives nearby.
Huh.
He's just a cool dude, and it took me, I think, about 10 years to get a hold of him to get him to start hosting.
Oh, yeah. Did you just have like a correspondence online, and then he came up, or what?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was. I think that part of the reason he wasn't available earlier on was just he was raising kids. But so it was cool to finally get a hold of him, and the whole idea for Guignol Fest, at least in the early days, was I just wanted to have a party that involved all the cool people who like Halloween in town. And of course, I can't get everybody, but I can get quite a few.
Yeah. No, hell yeah. It's definitely the premier one, and I'm saying for sure. Well, yeah, you knocked out the competition, it sounds like, at least hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's just the way it goes. I mean, stick around long enough, and it's kind of, you end up with a little bit of gravity around you.
Yeah. Of course, your wife, Julia Arg, I love her. She's so nice and multifaceted, performing artist and producer. How'd you guys meet?
We met in that haunted house that I was talking about.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. She was doing technical work. I think she was wiring up all the speakers for all three of the haunted houses. There's 3 city blocks of haunted houses. and I was doing casting every night for a month, and I was also couch surfing, so it was extremely stressful, terrible time. I, in fact, resisted meeting her. She tried to get my attention by, zipping a drill near me a couple times just to get my attention.
Well, hello.
And I just I glanced up and went right back to my notes. I didn't want to meet anybody. I didn't want to make any friends. I was depressed. I had no money, and I was going down like a meteorite. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. But and then the other horrible part was that I didn't get paid until mid-November. So I was waiting on $1,000 check for this time frame, and I had like probably $30 to my name.
Jeez.
And when I told her what I was going through, she tried sending me links to job leads, and of course, no one was biting. No one was hiring around November, December, and then I ended up watching her pets for her while she went to LA for Christmas. And when she came back, she just said, "Yeah, you don't have to leave."
Aww.
So that's how it all came together.
Wow.
And then, of course, I told her, even though I may die tomorrow, I'm still going to run this horror film contest if it kills me. And so the following year, she got involved with that, and she helped me produce I also do a lot of live theater, or at least I have in the past. And I wrote a play based on a film, which is based on a true story called Headless Body and Topless Bar, and that was the first play we worked on together.
Oh, where was that at? Was that in town, or?
Yeah, that was at the Tonic Lounge. We turned the Tonic into a strip club, for a theater play. And we just bought a pole and stuck it on the stage and added some signs here and there, and there you go, environmental theater.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So it was kind of like plot-wise. I don't know if you've ever heard of a play called When You Coming Back, Red Rider. It was like a combination of that and almost like a Breakfast Club with guns set in a strip club.
Whoa, what?
So it's about a guy who puts a place on lockdown and just makes them all tell the truth about themselves.
Wow, I gotta check this out, Doc.
Yeah. But it's also a little bit like that novel. There's a Stephen King, Richard Bachman novel that he actually took off the shelves himself because of there were so many copycat crimes after the novel came out. It was called Rage, and that's about a boy who shoots his teacher and then just locks the door and says, "All right, let's get it on."
Wow.
And he just wants to talk about his crappy life, and I just stories like that just always fascinated me. There's almost like a little subgenre of them out there. And When You Coming Back, Red Rider's another one.
Huh.
That was also made into a film starring a guy named Marjo, who used to be an evangelical scam artist.
It was same title or what for that?
When You Coming Back, Red Rider. Yeah,
okay.
That's the title. Yeah, and Headless Body and Topless Bar is just sort of an amalgamation of a few things.
Wow.
No truth to it. No biographical information in there at all.
Yeah.
Just,
I hope not.
it's just fun to yell at people and point guns for about 2 hours and have about 80% of the lines. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah. You ever think about putting that story to film or no?
Oh, gosh, no. Someone asked me if he could do it for me, and at the time I was like, once it's done, it's done.
Okay.
I don't want to revisit. My wife at the time, I go, this whole play felt like an exorcism of sorts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's all the despair, all the rage, all the other stuff that it was just sort of in me from being down on my luck, got to come out on stage, and once it was over, someone took a photo of me taking off my sweaty shirt, and I'd never seen myself smile that wide in my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Good to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've come a long way from couch surfing. Like you just recently had a UK tour. You went on like a Dracula tour, right, with Julia?
Yeah.
I was kind of jealous of that. My socials like, what? Yeah. Tell us about that.
That was there's a company called Experience Transylvania, and they're run by two very sweet ladies from Transylvania, and they have partnered up with Baker Stoker, and what they do is they do tours. And you can go to Romania, you can go to Ireland, you can go to Scotland and England, and in all those countries, there are locations that either inspired the novel Dracula, or that were locations that are in the novel Dracula, like they were set there. And so we've been to a lot of those locations, and we're going to go see some more on Halloween. We're going to Dublin. We're going to hang out with the Stokers again.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that'll be our... Let's see, we've been to Romania, Transylvania twice.
I got to go there. It's just so... Yeah.
You do. It's there's nothing like it. It's just such a strange place, and the food's very, very good. Transylvania is amazing. We went to... earlier this year, we were in Scotland and Whitby, England, for the 126th anniversary of the novel Dracula. And it was also what's called a vampire gathering, so all these people like to dress up like vampires show up to Whitby. And that's the location where the last voyage of the Demeter takes place, or at least the ship crashes on the shore.
Oh, okay.
It was based on actual ship wreck before the novel was published. And the ship was called the Dmitri, Russian ship. Yeah. So that's one of the cool things about the Dracula tour, is just learning about history along the way. You know, things that you never would have considered before.
So awesome.
What was it, for example, Cruden Bay, for example. Like, that's we stayed in a hotel where Bram wrote a lot of Dracula. So that was something, I didn't consider. I didn't think for a second that he would have written it in Scotland. Why Scotland?
Yeah, when he said Scotland, I was like,
Yeah, there's the ruins of a castle right on the rocks of Cruden Bay that he based some portions of Dracula on. So there's a hexagonal room where Harker first has a conversation with Dracula in the novel, and we get to stand in that room. It's real.
Oh my gosh.
It's the real place.
What's the room look like? Do they kind of have it how it looks like in the novel, or ish, or not really, or?
Well, the castle's fallen into extreme disrepair. It doesn't even have a roof anymore. So it's just the rocks. It's just the bricks. But I've seen photographs from only 100 years ago where it was in full operation. So we know where the kitchen is, and we've seen photos of the kitchen. It's like, wow, night and day. It just fell apart. The family lost their money and just stopped taking care of it. But now, as a result, it inspired someone to write Dracula.
Well, I'm definitely going to go there because I'm part Scottish, so on my list I got to go to Italy and Scotland and the Scottish Keto Guido. It's one of my alter egos on the show. So I'm definitely going to go to... What's the place in Scotland called for sure? I got to remember that one because it doesn't stand out. You wouldn't think, Dracula, Scotland,
Right, yeah. Cruden Bay.
Cruden Bay,
the name of the location. Cruden Bay. There's a famous golf course there. I think it might be the one that hates Donald Trump as much as I do.
Oh, cool,
but
yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, that's one location. There's others, as you drive along, we might, like we actually did just sort of stop briefly at the castle that inspired Shakespeare to write Macbeth.
Oh.
So it's not just Dracula. There's other things just as you go.
Wow.
And, stuff like that. It's just very, very, very cool.
In Transylvania. I gotta go there. I remember as a little kid, I thought Transylvania was just like a fictional place made up, And then when I was a teenager, when I realized Transylvania was real, I was like, whoa! I was blown away, so... Yeah. That's been on my list. Like, it's real!
I don't know if you, who's the local horror host? What's her name? Does queer horror? I can't, my name.
Yeah, no, totally.
I'm just blanking. Anyway,
I know you mean that, yeah.
She hosted Guignol Fest a number of years ago, and we had a trailer for the Night Attacks. It was an early trailer, and and it ends, and she turns around and goes, "I didn't even know Transylvania was a real place."
I mean, because you always just Dracula. You don't hear like, oh, these famous pickles are from Transylvania, or they're famous for turnips, and these turnips are as good as Transylvania. You know, it's like, oh, it's Dracula. So it's just kind of funny when like, yeah, it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. There's even there was a food cart downtown for years called Taste of Transylvania, and they closed the cart, but they still serve the food. You just have to order it online, I believe.
What kind of food is Transylvanian? I'm guessing not garlic, right? But maybe
a combination of stuff. I mean, there are Romanian dishes, but they're also influenced by German culture, and anything that's adjacent, pretty much. There's a lot of warring and sacking and pillaging and things like that back then, coming from all directions in the medieval times. You had the Ottomans coming from the south, and Germans invading, or I guess Saxons, so there is sort of a mix of things. There's even a little bit of there's almost a little bit of Italian going on in the culture as well, or maybe Mediterranean in general. But yeah, it's such an interesting place, because when you go to the country, you'll see stuff that you thought you wouldn't have seen anymore, because the Middle Ages were so long ago. But here are these people doing everything with horses, big old hay wains and it's crazy. It's just like going back in time, Wow. And the Carpathian Mountains are so massively huge. I mean, it just makes our mountains on the West Coast look like just tiny little rocks,
Yeah.
Yeah. They're massive. And so, when you get your eyeballs on the Carpathians, and then you read Dracula, it gets a lot scarier.
Wow. Huh.
I mean, the woods in Romania also remind me a lot of the woods in the Pacific Northwest, because it's the 45th parallel. Portland's lined right up with Bucharest in a lot of ways. So it's spooky here, it's spooky there.
Yeah.
We saved a lot of money was saved when we went the second time and realized, we can film right around our house.
Yeah, it's another maybe that added to me like my creativity as a kid. 'Cause, I mean, as a teenager or a kid, I always remember like, man, Portland, like especially before Portland was discovered by the world. It's like you could film anything here. Like you're talking about that. You could film like in downtown Portland. You could film like it's Detroit or New York, certain aspects. The woods, everything. I mean, we had a bit of everything. So
everything is so close to us. We really don't. A lot of people in Portland really don't know how good they have it.
Yeah.
Compared to other cities in the world, like, just little simple things like if you like horror films and you're probably on the goth side of things, maybe. And then if you say travel to Salem, Massachusetts, like we did the other day, because we have, I'm descended from the Hawthorne family.
Oh, yeah.
And, and so we got, I got that in my blood, but when you go to Salem, not one goth bar.
Huh.
They have a goth night like every third Saturday, fish and chips place. It's just weird.
Wow.
It's like they somehow managed to, I mean, even though, they rely on the history of the witch trials as part of their kind of tourism, there's not a big old goth scene there. It's very strange. I mean, if I was there, I would start a theater company right away or something, just get one going. But man, it's just we come back to Portland, and it's like, wow, we have the Coffin Club, and we have
like I live. I shouldn't say where I live, but I live. If you didn't know, I live in that pink house on Gleason with all the bird bats that everyone knows, like when they come by. Yeah, so everyone so say I'm brushing my teeth. It's always when I'm in a hurry. Like there's people taking pictures of the house, and it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? It's and my text here because we have more of a close set today. Usually we do it in the studio down the street, but my text here and we have there's well, she wants me to tell too much about it, but another person who lives here has this insane porcelain doll collection. Really 100-year-old dolls. And they're behind me, and we're videotaping this part of it, so it'll be in this episode. So it's like, I wanted the haunted-looking dolls in the background of this Not that it's necessarily a spooky episode, but, you know, you mean
awesome.
the horror host with the most, you know?
That's
But
so
yeah.
cool, man.
I mean...
No, you look at it. That's really... Yeah, that's cool.
You ever see a red Kia Soul outside, feel free to knock.
Awesome. Yeah, you're just down the road from my friend, who pretty much the only house I even go to visit in town. If I get out of the house, I'll go to this one house because they just have a lot of room to pace.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right next to where the old Pepsi plant was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that zone. I used to live on 28th, or right off 28th.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Portland,
So, yeah,
it's like, say what you will about Portland, you know what I mean? It's got, they have their douches, they have their whatever, and they have a bunch of people moved here from wherever, but like, it could be real cool, it could be real overrun, it could be, but it's always real, you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's all happening at once.
I mean, we used to have, you know, you could have someone who has like a leisure suit on with a bunch of like, you know, wine tops, wine corks, you know, taped to it. Like, that's the wine cork guy, but he's not even doing it to pose. It's just, that's him. Or, you know, it's just this weirdo or that weirdo. We were really like Twin Peaks, but legit. Like real, you know? So.
Exactly, yeah. It's true. It is true. Speaking of Twin Peaks, man, just last year we went to a horror convention, and I realized, you know, the Laura Palmer house is nearby, and I've been talking to the lady who lives there on Twitter over quarantine, so I just cold called her pretty much, and she said, yeah, come on over.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. Mary Reaver, she's a very sweet lady.
I was just talking about Ray Wise to my tech yesterday, because we were talking about like horror movies, we were talking about, you know, booking
awesome.
and everything. Like,
Ray Wise, what a great actor.
So intense, so cool, and haunting, and yeah.
Yeah, I bet you'd be a rad dude to have a beer with.
Yeah. Maybe we can try to reach out to him for a, you know, Guignol Fest shout out, one of these festivals.
Yeah, you know, that's not a bad idea. One of the reasons I went with Malcom this year is because the last couple of years were women, and well, technically it was like 2 years, but it was 3 women because the Shining Twins.
Yeah. Come play with us. You remember that?
Yeah. It was so cool. I didn't even ask her or them to say that.
Huh. God, I love Malcom McDowell. Man, from Clockwork Orange to Metallo to everything, he's always been like the cool niche guy, you know.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what else is coming up? We booked a show at the Clinton Street for December 1st. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo.
Oh, yeah.
And Richard Elfman and all that stuff, and the band where Danny came from.
Yeah.
We contacted Richard and said, would you please come to Portland and perform live on stage with your wife, do some burlesque and music before your movies. And we're going to play 3 of them, so we're having a Richard Elfman festival with Richard Elfman in attendance.
Oh, wait, so when is that? In December, you said, or?
Yeah, December 1st. It'll be a Saturday, I believe. No, it's a Friday. It's a Friday.
Hell yeah.
But, he's a huge influence on me. When I first heard about him, it was a strange situation. It was supposed to be a birthday party, but the boyfriend of one of the people involved in the party had been killed the night before in a car accident.
Oh, my God.
And then the party was canceled, and then it was back on, but this time it was going to be a wake. And so we all arrived, and it was very strange. We were all sad. And a guy named Ryan Knight just shows up, and he was buddies with the guy who died. But in order to cheer everyone up, he brought a copy of this movie on VHS called The Forbidden Zone. And by the time this movie was done, my life was changed. I mean, it just completely inspired me to make movies. I mean, I'd always wanted to make movies, and I had made movies before, but this one was like, this is what I really, really, really want to do in the long run. And it's just a great weirdo film. It's got that cult thing like Rocky Horror does, and the songs are just as memorable. They stick in your head forever, and I just can't believe that he's coming to Portland. It's just it's a dream come true. So the Elfmans are going to be rolling up to Portland on December 1st.
Yeah, well, thanks for putting that together. Jeez.
Yeah, Oh God, it's one of those don't miss it things.
Yeah.
It's every time I think about it, I just shake my head and like I can't believe this is real.
And it's on a Friday, or is it 3 nights? You said, or
it's just one night.
One night.
Or one day.
First,
they're going to play 3 movies. The show, everything should be over by about 11.
Wow.
Because they have to shut down in that neighborhood before that.
Is that at the Clinton Street or no? Or,
yeah.
Okay. World famous Clinton Street
Theater. They won't let us go to midnight anymore because of the neighbors.
Damn neighbors.
Yeah. Always.
Man. And what's going on with the night attacks? I know you filmed in Astoria recently. Last week, maybe, right?
Yeah. Night attacks we've been working on since 2016. I came up with the idea, I believe, in the year before that. And the idea was just to do a movie with a lot of weird friends in Portland and have it be an epic film about Dracula coming to town. So that's the main reason why we've been doing all these Dracula tours, is research.
Huh.
And to me, research, you can go in a library and get in the internet, or you can just show up, go to the place where it all began, and learn from the locals and learn from people who know a lot more than I do. And so as a result of the process of the night attacks, we've filmed in Europe a few times. We're about to release episode 1 this month.
Oh, cool.
So we didn't start principal filming, and I mean, I'm not counting the stuff we did in Romania, but we didn't really start that until just about 2 years ago in the middle of quarantine. So we're finally getting things to stick together. It's been really difficult, of course, because I don't really know how to make a full-length motion picture. So I'm learning for the first time, and I'm learning as I go. And all the years I've taught, not taught, but directed live stage shows, and I feel that theater is still the hard one. It's harder than film. Film is just a completely different animal, and people act differently on a film set than they do in a theater play rehearsal situation. Yeah. They seem to be more committed to the stage and availability. When it comes to making a movie, oh my God, it is like wrangling dead cats.
Yeah.
Everyone's all over the place these days. Everybody's got 3 different personalities and 3 different occupations. And
more divas, maybe too, perhaps, or
more what?
More divas. Is everyone a little more?
Hello.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me, Dylan?
Hello.
Oh yeah. Hello. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Oh, are they more like a lot of divas or divos, so to speak? A lot of people behind the host, or no?
Not as many divas, except that all you need is about one to screw up an entire situation, though. And it seems like that's been the way it's been going. It's like almost every project, there's just one person who just throws off your whole balance and confuses you.
Just typically with ego and stuff, or what? Or
ego and kind of like I don't know. It seems like sometimes when an actor outside of, say, the project I'm working on gets a role in, say, a full-length feature, all of a sudden they're Joe actor. They know everything. So there's a little bit of know-it-all stuff going on. And it's like, I'm 53, and the first time I ever performed on stage was in 1976. Wow. So, whatever.
Yeah. It's like, it's so crazy the way the world is, like, since, like, oh my God, like, everyone's, narcissism is, like, just through the roof, and I feel like with, everyone's just their own, too much of a main character in a way, because, like, your Google is different than my Google, for example. Like, you might have more horror stuff on your Google, and I might have more whatever,
Right.
So it's like, I think people just have more of a whatever, so people who are more susceptible to that kind of behavior, it's like, oh my God, it's like crack, or, narcissism on steroids, probably. So, I'm in a movie? Oh, even if you're, paying them in credits and peanuts, so they're probably like, ho.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah.
Do you know who you're talking to? I was second lead in the play 5 years ago at high school. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. And when I was a kid, I got to observe this firsthand, being in, like, the first professional play I was in that actually had actors from television on stage with me, from the Dick Van Dyke Show and shit like that. I was watching that kind of behavior with the younger actors, like the ones who are, say, college age or high school age. They get into the play, and all of a sudden, they were telling us children, because we were kids, like, they're being this, and they're doing that. And the stage manager was like, the kids know their lines, shut up and figure out yours. Go away.
Wow.
So I got to see, at an early age, I got to see adults acting like children and children acting like adults.
Jeez.
And, and just to this day, sure, like I have quite a few scenes in this series, The Night Attacks, that involve quite a few children. And it's not easy to direct a lot of children at once, but I know how to do it. And they are, in a lot of ways, more focused than older people, than adults, so-called adults. And so it's kind of nice to see that, because it's a little reminder that the next time I work with some adults, I'm gonna tell them about the kids and how nice and focused they were, and how that would be great if the adults could be as focused as the children.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a thing just because, like, kids, like, you're pretending, and pretending might even be, like, your main job in a way. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm doing this. This is what I do, and, But
I'm not going to say they were perfect. There was moments where I had to say, stop clowning and stop hitting yourselves, whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, once you got into the fun part and the play of it, it's just like an on switch, and then they're doing it, and on camera you're looking like, I'm convinced that kid means that. The intention's there.
Wow.
So it's nice and refreshing, and also cool to I used to teach kids as well, so I have taken part of that from teaching. I taught for about 1.5 years in Japan.
Oh wow. Very cool.
Pretty much just toddlers to all the way to older people my age who just wanted to know what was saying in an English newspaper.
Huh. So do you speak Japanese, or?
No.
Oh, no.
No, I didn't go. I went there just to visit someone that ended up staying for 2 years. It was, but I learned enough to get food and transportation going and things like that. But at the school I worked at, at first it wasn't really encouraged, because they wanted the kids to be immersed in English and all the different dialects, because they hired native English speaking people from all the different countries in the world that have native English speakers. So you got New Zealand, Australia, Britain, Canada, the U.S., even South Africa. But it would, that way the kids could get, figure out, kind of like if they're, say for their parents might say, hey, I want my kids to learn from someone who grew up in New York.
Yeah.
They had that option. And so, if they wanted their kid to speak with a New York accent, you could do that too.
Very cool. And so, when is, you said Night Attacks is premiering when?
This month.
This month, cool. And where can people view that?
On YouTube, and the channel is called The Night Attacks. Mm-hmm. And if you look it up, or if you have a problem looking it up, you can maybe cross-reference that with Y'allfest, but you should be able to find it with just The Night Attacks in Portland.
Very cool.
And there are already 13 mini episodes on it.
Okay.
You can watch right away, and it'll give you a little bit of backstory about the main characters. Myself, Julia's character's name is Cora, my character's name is Vincent, and then my friend Angus plays a character named Willard. My friend, sorry, I'm trying not to burp. My friend Wes Ramsey plays a guy named Josh Jest, who is a clown. And
makes sense.
And there's other characters. There's a guy named, or rather a woman named Anu. She's played by my friend Una. And she is a fire witch, and she's trying to solve a mystery, essentially.
What is a fire witch? Like a pyro-powered witch?
She's an elemental witch whose focus is fire.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
In the beginning of the story, she's lost her ability to do anything with that due to trauma, her friends being murdered. And she's trying to figure out if her friends have actually been murdered or not, or if there's something bigger at play. And it involves Dracula, eventually.
And so you said 13 mini chapters, so do those add up to longer episodes, or it all links up to a movie, or how's that work?
Those are just sort of meant to be what they are, just to kind of provide a little backstory.
Ooh,
and then,
okay.
So this month, when I release the episode, it's going to be longer than a half hour.
Uh-huh.
And then each one after that will be about 10 to 15 minutes each.
Oh, very cool. Huh.
Yeah, so it'll all, you get to meet these characters and find out how they're connected and go on the journey with them, and it all eventually leads to what amounts to be a Halloween war in Portland.
Wow. And is it set in Portland or just filmed in Portland?
It's set in Portland for sure. Yeah,
cool.
It's supposed to be essentially present day Portland, and everything that happened in the last few years actually happened in this story, except that it was the fault of Dracula.
Oh, very cool.
All the rioting, all the racism, all the other things. It's just basically this demonic entity shows up to Portland to torture these filmmakers.
Wow. And has Dracula been cast yet, or is he in it yet, or?
Dracula is played by more than one person.
Oh, okay.
There's we have an older gentleman. We have a younger lady. And there will likely be other Draculas popping in as well, because he's a shapeshifter. So I thought, hey, I don't have to just settle with one actor. I can, depending on the scene or the style of it, I can get whoever I think might fit.
Okay. Well, if you need one,
motorcycle.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And with practical, not pretend, not green screen, is actually on a motorcycle, or?
I couldn't hear you very well there.
Like you got an actual motorcyclist, or is it on green screen, like a stunt, or is it a?
Oh, an actual cyclist, but a lady. She's a neighbor of a friend of mine, and she's also Romanian and a descendant of the real Vlad Dracula.
Oh, shut up! Whoa.
Yeah, we got actual
one of the Impalers.
Dracula blood in our
wow.
film too. Yeah. And you know what else? You know that guy from the Lost Boys that plays the saxophone?
Yeah, the muscle guy. He was a kind of like, he was essentially was a featured extra, but then he just blew up and went viral before viral was a thing, really, right? He stole the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he was also Tina Turner's saxophone player for about 25 years or so.
Huh.
But he's coming to Portland, and he did a greeting for Can You All Fest a couple of years back.
Oh my god.
And I contacted him and said, hey, I heard you're coming to Portland like I suggested, so would you mind if I took photos and video? And he said, absolutely.
Oh, very cool.
So we might have...
So without spoiling it... Oh, is it like almost the same character as Lost Boys in a way?
Too.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
He broke up a little.
Oh, is he almost playing the same type of character like as he was on stage there with the sax and the...
Oh yeah, he's
my god, fella. That's great. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do a vampire movie without that guy. And I know he...
I mean, you gotta take a swing, yeah. You gotta take a swing at it, yeah.
For sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we got a few people we've met over the years. I directed this Alice Cooper play, and as a result became friends with a few of the members of the band and even peripheral family members. And so Dennis Dunaway's has a band with two of the Oyster Cult.
Uh-huh.
They have a song called "You Like Vampires," and I haven't asked them yet, and I'm going to try to ask them to see if I can't use that song or not. Because I don't think they're on a major label. I think they own all the music.
Oh, I gotta hear that. I definitely don't recognize that song. I want to hear that for sure. Wow.
Yeah. So that's another little thing I'm trying to work, get people involved who have a name for themselves. Have you ever seen THX 1138?
Oh, yeah. The George Lucas thing, right? Or Yeah.
So
a while ago,
when we first started filming the Night Attacks, one of the guys who auditioned was the hologram from THX. The guy, his name is Don Pedro Cully. And it turns out he's from Oregon.
Huh.
So he auditioned, and we cast him, and I found out he was in the movie Sugar Hill playing Baron Samedi, the voodoo deity. And he's like a cigar cigar smoking, top hat wearing partier, and he also can raise the dead. So he's in our movie. But we only got him in one scene because he died 3 days later.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't know that.
He knew he was going to die, but he called us up and said, "Get your ass down here before I die." And so we found him on his back bed in the hospital.
Shut up! Wow.
Yeah. Huh. So I'm going to cast someone else to play him in a different form, kind of like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Baron died. His physical form dies, but then a younger version kind of comes out of nowhere. And so I'm trying to figure out. I have cast someone. I'm not going to say who it is yet because I'm not sure if they're fully committed, and I don't want to say in case they drop out.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Jeez.
So
his last role is out. Obviously, his last role, right? I don't think anyone else rolled into the room and did something else. I mean,
wow. Anything that he did before he died, he is probably been released by now. But yeah, this will be his last movie. I even told Joe Bob Briggs about this and his co-host, Darcy, the mail girl. And so, there's a few people I'm going to be keeping posted on this one. There's some fans out there who are like, wow, the last role, the last one.
Huh.
He could barely talk, the poor guy. I should have just given him look up, look down directions. Poor guy. He was really struggling because it was in his bone. The cancer was in his bone marrow by then. So he's very, very weak in state. But he just kept saying, "Let's do another. Let's do another."
Oh wow! Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Can't say no to that.
Yeah. No. Oh.
So yeah, Night Attack's coming out soon, and first episode, as a lot of people I've been working with over the last 10 years in theater and movie level stuff. So this is to me my love letter to Portland and all the people I've worked with over the last few years.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Cause I just recall, just from a periphery standpoint, I'm like, I know Night Attacks just from posts and stuff and post-production shots and stuff forever. So I was like, I almost thought it was an ongoing series that already premiered, but wow, very cool.
Yeah, finally gonna do it.
Yeah,
it's been a long one, man. Jeez, it's so hard to get this stuff together. I mean, part of it too is just having to buy all the hard drives. So many hard drives. We get stacks and stacks of these things now, and we name them all after vampires.
Oh yeah, have you run out of names yet, or have you had to do sequel names yet, or no? Still got plenty. There's plenty.
Yes, we have. We actually got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to name it that. What do we do now? So I think Julia's branched out to Star Wars characters.
Oh, okay. I mean, what was the bottom of the barrel, like Buffy, or What We Do in the Shadows characters, or just, or we not? Oh, you didn't think it? Oh, come on, bro! You should hit me.
Well, the last one I named was Orlok.
Oh, okay.
I even named one of them Greenberg. Greenberg the vampire is a Marvel character, believe it or not. Came out of the 70s or early 80s, one of the two. And he's just this nice Jewish boy in Brooklyn who just happens to be a vampire. But he's also kind of a gumshoe. When he meets this cult leader, the guy embraces him, and he realizes the guy has this kind of a religious symbol around his neck. And so Greenberg in his mind just says, wow, if that thing was actually holy, my chest would be French fried right now. So he realizes he's a sham, so he does some detective work to take the guy down. But Greenberg doesn't bite people. He just his parents own a deli, so he just drinks pig's blood.
Oh my God, that's great.
He's one of my favorite vampires, Greenberg.
I gotta look him up. I mean, however I've seen him. Does he have Does he have really thick glasses or no?
He's just kind of got a cheesy mustache and curly hair.
Huh.
He's just a regular guy. I just think someone should make a movie about Greenberg the vampire. Maybe I should. Yeah,
you should see if you can. You should see if you can license it or not. I always would. Yeah. Man, I keep saying there's so many projects that I keep saying if I won the lottery, I'd buy the license. The permissions for this or that, the legal rights to this or that. Especially so many things that no one knows about. Like no one knows about Greenberg. I feel like I knew everything about Marvel, and I don't know about Greenberg. It doesn't.
I think I heard about it through Bizarre magazine. Marvel used to have this thing in the '80s called Bizarre. and it was kind of like their answer to heavy metal in a way. And so they do a little bit more adult angled stories. So one episode or one issue that I think I discovered Greenberg in was an issue that Stephen King published, or rather, cartoonist, comic book artist, adapted The Lawnmower Man, the original story by Stephen King, not the movie about AI. But it's in that Greenberg. There's I think an entire episode of Greenberg.
Oh, really?
He pops up in Bizarre Adventures. That's what it's called. Bizarre Adventures is the name of the magazine. Okay. So you can probably find that online or in any comic book trading store. You can probably find a stack of those. Huh.
Very cool. It reminds me, like, what was my vampire idea I had, like, a while ago? Because, it's like when you're writing and creating, so many times you write these different stories, and before you finish it, another idea comes, you're like, no, But I wanted to make one called Garlic the Vampire, because, like, I've always loved I'm Italian, too. And he's a vampire that happens, he can eat garlic, and I wanted to make, like, a kind of a comedic, day-in-the-life vampire story.
I love it.
And, like, what was it in my script? Don't you hate when, like, you create something years and years and years ago, and then all of a sudden it's in something else? Kind of like I had the idea, because, they can't see their own reflections, so I had something where, like, when I was getting dressed from high school or something, I was like, oh, well, how would a vampire do that? They always look so immaculate. And I was like, oh, when flat-screen TVs came around, I was like, oh, a rich vampire, his castle or his loft or his penthouse would have maybe a sideways flat-screen TV, and he's watching himself on camera, getting ready and stuff. Right. And then they did that. They did that in one vampire thing that I've seen years and years later. What's the one with Ethan Hawke? And it's kind of in the future when vampires have eaten most of the humans.
I know what you're talking about. It was like a metaphor about peak oil.
Yeah, and so I don't remember if they had like a mirrors, but they had somewhere he was like in his car and he pulled down the rearview mirror and it was like a camera. And I was like, that's my idea, the camera for the reflections. But they didn't have anything like a full length mirror or anything like that I thought about. But yeah.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually when I tend to like the ones that have kind of a metaphor going on in the background.
Yeah.
About the vampires and like what they're really saying. All those kind of like all the George Romero movies. It's like it's Dawn of the Dead. It's not really about zombies. It's about consumerism.
Yeah, that's some of the best things about horror. It's always a different message. Really, like the best ones typically. Yeah. It's never just like killing, gore. It's like
right.
Well, no, it's
exactly
a real message.
And that's one of those things that's kind of fun to struggle with too. It's like when you're working on your own. I try not to do it consciously. I try to just sort of let the story slowly get under my skin, and then toward the end of it, I think is when it usually pops up. You're like, oh, this is what this is about.
Yeah, no, totally. That's the way I write too. Like where it's like kind of like a developing picture. I don't just like I got to write this scene. It's like, well, no, it'll come to you if that's why I see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting paid for something, it's one thing. But if you're not just creating for yourself, it's like, well, how do you get writer's block? What do you mean? Are you really a writer? Just create your next thing. So like work on your Nora detective thing. If you're feeling a little emo because you got dumped when you were working on the sci-fi thing a minute ago, but you're not feeling that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And for me, horror just it seems to fit just about every occasion because it's one of the only genres named after an emotion. And emotions go everywhere.
Wow,
they go everywhere. They go into a western. They go into a romantic comedy. They're just there. Fear is there. I mean, look at. Some of the most horrific moments in Disney films are in movies that aren't horror films. They're they're romantic fantasies. And all of a sudden you've got this demonic villain. You're like, Jesus Christ, So horror goes where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
more inspiration than ever before since we're living in the apocalypse now, so,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, every day it's like, you shock me. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I heard a stand-up comedian say he wanted to write a story about a depressed person whose house is haunted, but the depressed person just doesn't care anymore.
Oh, my God, yeah.
It's like, whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of like, like the news about UFOs and stuff. It's like nothing will shock us anymore. It feels like, Like they could make a realistic newscast thing saying zombies are real and stay indoors and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you really could. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah, quarantine just, I think, warped just about everybody.
Yeah. Oh.
As well.
Well,
But thankfully, I actually did get COVID about a month ago.
Oh, really? Yes, knock on wood, I never got it. Yeah, I haven't got it yet.
Yeah,
so.
I figured I just flew over everything and I was immortal and no problem. And
yeah,
we took one trip to Astoria.
And
went to a bar and sat right next to the wrong person.
Oh, you're pretty. Wow, you're pretty sure because they were coughing and stuff, or you overheard they had it, or what? Oh, okay,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were able to trace it right back to her.
Huh.
But it didn't last long, and I didn't really get the symptoms the way other people had. I didn't feel too, like foggy-headed or anything like that. I just had a little bit of tension in my neck for like one day. And then it took about 3 days to get over it. But, knock on wood.
Yeah. Huh. Did it inspire any horror tales at all, or scripts, or moments? Or?
Oh, no, it just made me feel like I was back in quarantine. That was just real life horror.
Patient zero.
I was like, okay, I got to stay at home for a week.
Oh.
Just like, the inspiration did kick in, though, with editing. I got a lot of things edited for episode 1 of the Night Attacks while I was COVID bound. So, I got some stuff done, and I was able to go to, once it cleared up, I went over to a friend's house and showed them what I made, and everybody got really excited about the show again, because, some people, some of my friends just don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
And which I understand, but I also understand that it took 6 years for David Lynch to make fucking Eraserhead, so they can all suck it. It takes time if you're going to make something for yourself, you gotta, it's got to be just so.
And you're doing it right, like a developing picture,
Exactly. I figure, once I get through the first few episodes, it'll get easier somewhat in some ways, and then I can relax, and then the next movie I make, I swear to God, I'm only casting tops 3 people, and it's going to be all one location. This is the opposite of what I'm doing right now. I'm all over the damn map, and it's way too many people, but I said, I got to do the weird one when I'm young.
Yeah.
And 53 is not young.
Young to some.
But it's younger than 63, so I figured, I'm ahead of that.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have thought you were that old, so, maybe you got maybe you learned some tricks in Transylvania, right? So, who knows?
Hey,
Maybe you're no longer a familiar. Who knows? And I don't want to say too much and endanger myself.
I will admit I did see some very strange things in Transylvania. Things I cannot explain.
Oh, yeah.
We witnessed a dog was following us around all day when we were at the castle in Poinar. It's a fortress, not a castle per se. It's a fortress. It's where the spiked people were. And we went there. The dogs hung out with us all day. Anybody who came near us, these dogs would growl at.
But not you. They just followed you around kind of friendly, or what?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. They put their head in Julia's lap when she was working on a camera lens. They had scars all over them from fighting other dogs and being hit by cars.
What the hell?
And what happened was we were taking one last shot of the castle or the fortress from a distance on the hill, and a car came down the road, top speed. This dog decides it's protecting us, and it gets hit by the car, rolls under the car, runs away, hadn't broken any legs, at least apparently.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I figure it's just going to die under a tree in the distance, because that's where it went.
Yeah.
And we're both very upset.
Yeah, you saw a dog die, seemingly, but
yeah. And this family sees us and hears us, and so they take us into there's a hotel down the street, a big lodge. And they take us there because we missed our ride, and we're calling a cab. Well, the sun sets. It's a full moon. And we go outside to wait for our cab. There's the castle under the full moon.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I look over at the area where the dog went, which is a bunch of grass, like a bunch of grass and then some trees. The bottom of the hill of the castle. And the dog's sitting right in the middle of the lawn, or the grass, eyes fully reflecting the full moon.
Just looking at you, just sitting like a not even injured seeming?
Just looking at us. Just sitting
What
there.
the hell? What do you call that?
And I looked over and said, Julia, look, it's Buster. He's alive. And so we got in the cab, we waved at him, he just sat there and watched us leave.
Wow.
It was one of the spookiest things I've ever seen. I mean,
oh my gosh, that's incredible.
That car had to have been going 70 or 80 miles per hour.
Wow.
But I witnessed that, and I witnessed it in front of Julia, so she will totally corroborate my tale. That was just one of the spooky little things that happened.
Will that be a lichen or a ghost dog? Or just something? Wow. Where was that? Transylvania or Romania?
Revenant.
Or yeah.
What was that again?
Where was that exactly in our trip?
Oh, it was in Poinar, Transylvania.
Straight Pennsylvania.
If you look up Poinar, it's spelled Poenari.
And did you guys pet Buster probably? It sounds like, and before that.
I never pet him.
Cause that'd be kind of weary. I mean, seemingly.
Yeah. I didn't want to pet him because the locals told us not to, and they said also not to look him in the eye, and I didn't do that either. But they protected us all the way down the trail. They flanked us on the side where the trail drops into the down the mountain. So they made us basically hug the side of the mountain so we wouldn't trip and fall.
Huh.
So they were very sweet dogs.
Oh, okay. So they were obviously
very
hurting you, and you said they smelled Julia, and wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. We call them Dracula's dogs. We met this old Transylvanian lady at the lodge with a very thick accent said to us, and this is, and I quote, Dracula can protect the dogs, but he can't protect the dogs from the machines. So that gave us a bit of a chill before we went home. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Go see Transylvania. Experience Transylvania.
Yeah. Wow.
Check it out. If you ever want to go, go through them. Get a hold of Nora. Her sister's name is, I'm blanking on her sister's name. She's going to be, I think, one of the two of them is going to be in Dublin with us on Halloween. But anyway, very, very sweet ladies, and I think they both have theater experience as well, so it's easy to get along with them and talk about films and stuff like that. Yeah. And they look like very pretty vampire girls.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great title too. Very Pretty Vampire Girls.
Yeah.
Man, that is incredible though. Wow.
Yeah.
And Buster.
That's
That's insane.
Buster.
Hit by a wow.
Yeah, and it was just like a sports car. It's like, it was the road that you see in a lot of commercials it's a windy ass road, and you'll see some hot car just faring down this windy snake-like road. I forget the name of the road, but they basically call it the Snake. And it's behind Dracula's freaking fortress, but you see it in car commercials all the time.
Oh, it's the actual. Oh wow, the actual road gets rented out. Wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, it's right behind the fortress. And they always cut the fortress out of the shot.
Huh.
So whenever you see that windy road car commercial, and if you ever see one again, know that is right behind Dracula's fortress.
That's wild.
Yeah, and people have seen it over the years, over and over and over again, without probably even being aware.
Yeah, and you would think, like, why not have this cool fortress in the shop? But I guess just, huh.
Romania.
Wow.
Yeah. The Transylvania, literally translated, means the land beyond the forest.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. Transylvania, land beyond the forest. Spooky place.
Wow. Indeed. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan, Horror Maestro, I've taken enough of your time. Thanks for, those haunting tales. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I got a million of them.
Man, yeah. We'll definitely have you back on.
Thank you for letting me speak with you today. I don't get to speak with a lot of people much these days.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're busy creating the art, so yeah. Man.
Yeah. I don't get on the phone much either.
Quarantines and quarantines of your own creation, you know?
That's right.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you in Guignol Fest and with the Elfmans, hopefully. I'm definitely going to check those out.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's like I say, it's a show not to miss. It's what's the best way to put it? I would say filmmaking with a heart. I mean, it's indie filmmaking at its finest. It's weird, it's offensive, and it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And the music is infectious. Mm-hmm. That's what Richard Elfman is in a nutshell to me. He's one of a kind, and he created Oingo Boingo.
Wow.
I mean, the man's a damn walking legend.
Huh.
And and the cool thing is that I don't know if he'll be able to do it in Portland, but his shows in LA after the movie's over and after the live show, he makes barbecue ribs for you.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's my favorite food. That's back when this used to be like how you got back in your email with passwords years and years ago. Like ribs was my, what's your favorite food? To unlock your email.
That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I mean, it's going to be difficult because he says, I don't have any of my equipment in Portland. All my stuff's in Hollywood, so we might have to do a limited thing or might have to scrap it. But we'll figure it out. Even if it's just a house party afterwards, and we just go over to my friend Adam's house, and I'll just say, hey, just you can serve 12 people. That's cool.
Yeah, no, totally.
You have to serve 100 people.
There's got to be a grill here, right? So.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I can't wait. Well, thanks again, man.
Cool, man.
And tell Julia, hey.
I shall. Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, anytime, bro. I'll see ya.
All right. Later.
Late. And that was the great Dylan Hillerman. Legend. And check out his stuff. The Elfmans in December. Guignol Fest in October. And much, much more. I learned a lot. Were you guys scared? And we'll be right back after this brief message. This portion of that Kev 1 show is supported by Bohemian Dream Gifts, made with organic and natural oils that nourish and hydrate your skin. Man, I don't know if it's the weather outside or the gym that was killing my skin, because my right elbow on the, it itched like the Dickens, like I was becoming like the lizard from Marvel Comics. I think it's that machine where you put your elbow in and do the lifts, for the bicep. But I was itching my skin like crazy during, I won't say who because I don't want them associated with rough skin, with one of our guests here in the near future here. But my right elbow was getting ashy and coming up, getting red and irritated. Anyway, I used some of the promotional cookie dough body oil from Bohemian Dream Gifts that they gave us, and my skin, I'm not kidding, came back. I can vouch for that one. The cookie dough oil body oil. The cookie dough body oil brought my skin back to life like an Evanescence song. I'm not kidding. My skin is smooth and happy again. 100%. You can buy cookie dough oil on Etsy at the Bohemian Dream Gifts shop. Check out their other stuff as well, but that's one that I swear by now. And as soon as my promotional one runs out, I'm going to order some myself. So go to Etsy and visit the Bohemian Dream Gifts shop today. And now, back to the show. What a phenomenal guest. I hope you guys had a great time as well. A good time as I did, but I don't know if that's scientifically possible. See you guys in a week, and if you guys can't wait, go to Patreon /that Kev1 show. You know how to spell it? That, KEV 1 in show. You know the drill. It's like Kevin, but 1 instead of an I. Or if you're dyslexic, that one Kev show. But that Kev1 show. Patreon /that Kev1 show for daily hits. You never know. I don't even know what I'm going to put on every day. But I put stuff on there, premium content for my premium fans every day. Also internal. The inside behind the scenes of the show, extended versions, director's cut, if you will. Episodes a week early. And I'm in constant contact with you guys, the super fans. So feel free to give me any tips on what you guys want to hear early. What do you want to hear now? I try to stay on to talk to every single one of my patrons. I'm definitely in constant communication. I check in a lot, and I've been doing a good job. I'm proud of myself. And I know you guys all well. So I can honestly say I love you all, and I couldn't do the show without you. So thanks again. Thanks for listening. Thanks for giving me any positive vibes you guys are giving, and I'm giving it right back to you. So thanks again. Much love, and I'll see you guys all in a week. Before, all the time, I'm always here with you, and let's rock, roll, stay on this road, and flow, fly, thrive, more than survive. It's our time. Good night. Alright, haunted log. Came to this place. There were not this many purpose outside. Hopefully nothing happens to me. Don't want to joke about this, but in case the ghosts get me, this wasn't here, especially this case. Look at else I can't. To the doll room. Something is blocking it. Something doesn't want me to get to it. Whoa. Some of the dolls have moved. I'm gonna save this tape. I'm gonna send it to my team, and I'll shoot more.